The holidays are over. We're all pretty tired. And I think that's really why we bristle at the idea of New Year's resolutions. It's just because you go limping into the new year after trying to put all of Christmas together and then clean up from Christmas. And it's just like, I don't think I have the energy to live a perfect life, because usually that's what New Year's resolutions are trying to do, is like crack the code on finally living and being that fantasy person you've always wanted to be, right? I think it's okay to have goals, but I just think, you've got to temper it with being only human. So what I've been trying to do as we are, ringing in the new year, and I definitely am, along with a lot of people, of just wanting to organize my entire life, my entire house, is every day thinking, what is that one thing that is so important to me today that I would really like to take a crack at getting it done, and letting everything else either happen or fall by the wayside. So, did I make my bed today? Yes, and you're going to see that. And then because of what I wanted to get done, I needed to make sure the kitchen was clean. But what I really needed to get done today was to get meat out of the refrigerator, wrapped up, I can't even talk, wrapped up well and put into the freezer so that it doesn't go bad. I had these grand ideas of cleaning out the pantry, cleaning the whole refrigerator, doing all the things. But at the end of the day, my body would like very much to become sick. And I'm taking lots of vitamins and I'm trying to get lots of rest so that doesn't happen. But I need to go a little easy and gentle on myself, knowing that I had some errands to run in the afternoon. So I thought, okay, if I can just get that one thing done, I'm going to be happy. So what would that one thing be to you? And if it's late in the day for you today, what could you do tomorrow? And try to take our goals and the things that we want to get done just one thing at a time, not even the big three, because other things are going to end up happening. Dishes are going to happen, meals are going to happen, laundry's going to happen, other things happen in the day. But what is one thing that you could crack off the list that actually makes you feel like you're making a dent in the things that are important to you? So here's what happened in my day. So, as I said, first off, I wanted to get my bed made this morning. Because I work up here and do all of my editing up here, I really like to have a nice clean space so that I can work. So it is important to me that my bed is made. It makes such a difference when I come into the room. And so I'm just getting that done first. I haven't even gotten dressed yet. And after I make the bed, my plan is to go ahead and take my shower. And then I do have one business call on Monday mornings that I'm going to do, but it's with a friend. So it's a fun call. What are your absolutes? So a lot of times my absolutes are to make my bed, to get a load of laundry started, to empty the dishwasher and clean up the kitchen. On this day, I decided to ignore the laundry because I knew I wanted to get the meat taken care of in the refrigerator and maybe even get some more of the refrigerator cleaned out and maybe the pantry. Now, it didn't end up, I could do that stuff. That was fine. I had my priority, and it was like, if nothing else happens, that meat has to happen, because I knew I was going to be out doing errands for the afternoon and I wouldn't have any time to keep working in the home. And then I also knew when I got back, it would be time for me to do some editing and then make dinner. And by the time dinner's done, I'm done. I don't try to work at night. I used to edit at night while we were watching television, and I just don't have that sort of energy these days. So we just do the best we can. I am wondering, and would love it if you would let me know in the comments section, do you have the itch to organize? Does that hit you in January? It definitely hits me every January. I want to reorganize. I want to declutter. So let me know if you are feeling that too. There's definitely some great organizational videos going up on the internet right now. Here's some laundry that I had brought up here that didn't get put away. I'm doing that real quick. And then I have this cat blanket that we recently pulled back out again. I had forgotten about it. It was folded up and in our closet. So I'm just putting that on the back of this couch. I'm not a huge fan of the color of the couch. I mean, it's not awful. It's just not my favorite. So having this cat blanket that kind of plays with the grays, it's something that my kids had bought me years ago for Christmas, I think, and I have always loved it. I love how soft blankets are today. Don't you think they have done so much better with cloth, nice soft sweaters, soft sweatshirts, and soft blankets? Here is the state of my kitchen, and believe it or not, The dishwasher was filled the night before, and it was run, but so much happens after that. And I have been trying to figure out why we are not getting a hold of the kitchen. Even the other night, I was asking my husband if he wouldn't mind filling up the dishwasher, and my daughter Crecia yelled, "I'll do it, I'll do it." And she went and she filled it up and cleaned things up. And even before that, Yvonne had offered to clean the kitchen for me, and then I had forgotten about it. So it's not that no one's doing it, but I think I have figured out that because all of my daughters are now adults, we're on different schedules sometimes, and sometimes there's even different dietary needs. In fact, right now I've kind of separated myself most nights from the family, and I'm just kind of doing my own thing so that I can stay on my health program and everyone else can still have what they want. And I think that is what it is that there's always people making food in the kitchen. And of course, yes, we should all clean up after each other, but things are just getting chaotic. We also have a lot of extra food in the house, so you can see behind me all of the produce that is sitting on the countertop. That is unusual for us as well. So I really need to get meal planning. I need to figure out what everyone's eating. I need to make sure that everything is getting eaten in a timely manner and that we're not just out buying things we're in the mood for when we have perfectly good food at home that we need to be more content with. So I am cleaning off the island. You're going to see a little bit later in this video what a waste of time that was. If anybody has cats, they can definitely understand. I didn't need to necessarily get all of this cleaned up before I did what I was doing in the fridge, but I feel like, especially with the fridge, if I end up seeing food that needs to be thrown out, then I end up with extra containers. And I do have a fairly small kitchen. I mean, it's not tiny by any standard, but fairly small. And messes from the refrigerator can easily pile up. Now, funny story, you're going to see me cleaning the wall, all kinds of things. The cabinet, my husband made himself a homemade sauce last night, a tomato sauce. He's been into making homemade pasta lately. He made himself a spinach pasta. He and Crecia had themselves a little feast. I was doing my own thing, so I didn't have any. And I'm telling you, there was tomato sauce on the microwave, back of the stove, the wall, and cabinets. There was literally tomato sauce everywhere. I didn't say anything to him. Honestly, cooking is his hobby, and he's usually pretty good at cleaning up, but he doesn't necessarily notice all of the splatter. Well, of course, once I got wiping cabinets, then I start to realize how dirty they really are. It is actually a falsehood that white cabinetry shows dirt. I don't notice the dirt on white cabinetry. I think that black cabinetry or, super dark actually shows more dirt. I think wood doesn't necessarily show a ton, but white doesn't either. So oftentimes I'm not noticing how dirty my cabinets actually are getting. So this was a little bit of if you give a mouse a cookie. One of the things that I wanted you to notice in this video, refilling the salt shaker because I noticed it was empty. But one of the things I want you to notice in this video, I had one thing on my to-do list that absolutely had to get done. The bed was just something that's part of my morning. I had even ignored the laundry on this day. And here I am cleaning up the kitchen so that I can pull things out of the fridge without making a big mess. And if you notice, these things I had to do so that I could get to my one project take longer than the actual project. And that is so true, I think, for all of us. And I want you to notice it because oftentimes we feel very badly about ourselves that we can't, quote, get anything done. Because when we think of what would I like to get done today, we're not thinking, oh, I would like to make supper, or, oh, I would like to take a shower, or, oh, I would like to do that thing I do every single morning. And by the way, does anyone else have a hard time opening a Stanley Cup? Oh my goodness, I have a terrible time. But anyway, I digress. I think that we minimize the other things on our mental list that we feel like has to be done in a day. All the little messes we clean up, the pets we feed and take care of, the people we feed and take care of, all the other things that we do, even if it's just grooming ourselves, doing our hair, if we do makeup, taking our shower. There's so many things that happen in a day. you can easily take for granted. And that's why I love the idea of the to-do list. And if you don't know, if you're new here, a to-do list is where you write down everything you did in the day. And then the reason it's called a to-do is then you look at it and you go, ta-da, look at all I did. Because oftentimes we think we actually did nothing when we did many, many, many things. Time easily gets filled. And if we don't have a one thing or maybe two things that are on a project list, we're going to feel like we never actually make any headway because we're that hamster on the wheel. Make the food, clean up the food, make the food, clean up the food. Do you know what I mean here? So I just want you to notice that, look into your own life. And if you feel like you're not getting anything done, maybe start the to-do list. Or even if you don't do a to-do list, write down times and timestamps and what you did during that time so that you know where your time went. It's the same with money. If you put cash in your wallet and you're just here and you're just there over days, the money just goes, you have no idea where it went. Whereas if you have a budget and if you're being intentional, then suddenly you know where all of your money is going. You know why you have no money. Or maybe you've kept track of it, so now you have much more money. Time is exactly the same, and I think time can go even quicker. There's so many little things in the day that eat our time. An errand that we run, or just the little things that we have to do, phone calls that come in. So on the to-do list, if somebody called you or if you needed to call somebody, you might even write down phone call 1 hour and write down those things that happened. Even if it's time off, maybe you need to make sure that you're taking some time because you're just an exhausted heap at the end of the day. Or maybe you need to take a note. Maybe you started doing a little game on your phone. Nothing wrong with that, but maybe it ate up a couple of hours and you didn't even realize it. There's just so many things that come to budgeting our time, and we have to see our time as a great resource. And not only our time, but our energy, and how we spend our time has to match our energy level. Just like when you do errands, your errands, if you're not going to a gas station, have to match how much gas you have in the car. You cannot overspend gas, and you cannot overspend energy because energy is your gas. So, not to be rambling, but I just think it is so important that we are spending our time intentionally. And somebody said that maybe my word of the year is priority. And I think that is a great idea. I think I'm going to make it prioritize. So my word of the 2025 is prioritize. And I would like to just thank all of you for all of the great ideas that you give me. You're so important. You're an important part of my life. You're an important part of the channel because I know that people will go down and read the comment section, and you're all helping so many people across the country, people across the world, and you don't even know it. So thank you for all of your amazing suggestions. So I'm getting the dishes put in the dishwasher that need to be washed, getting the sink cleaned out, because anytime I do anything in the refrigerator, I really do need my sink cleaned out, whether it's cooking, whether it's cleaning out the refrigerator or doing any sort of organizing. By the way, I just stuck my finger in my coffee because there was a cat hair in there. Raise your hand if you can relate. So getting any little dishes cleaned up so that I can move on to the project I really did want to get done. I also wanted to give those of you who are friends of the channel a cat update. So Woozy, I don't know if you might remember because I haven't mentioned it as much, but he had an area on his skin that had gotten infected that he was chewing on, scratching, and our vet called and asked if we would send a picture of him today, a picture of that area, and they looked at it and they said that he can stop the medicine. He's all better, hair's growing back, it's all wonderful. And I'm also seeing that Leo is responding well to the latest medication, which I believe is an antibiotic for him. He seems to be doing better. He's not drooling in the morning anymore. He still has congestion, but it seems to be a lot less. He's eating a lot better, and I will definitely say when your cat has a cold, it is true. If they cannot smell their food, they're not going to eat it, because that was happening to him. And so we ended up getting him some canned food Oh, by the way, here's the mess in my refrigerator, which mostly is caused by way too much food. Anyway, back to Leo. He seems to be doing better, and so I have some hope. But boy, did he not want me to work on the island. Oh my lands, Leo. All right, I give up. I'm like, okay, forget it. I'll disinfect it when you go take your next nap, but I'm going to work on the countertop because clearly I am not doing anything with food on the island. And it's so funny because just a few days ago, we were so worried about him, and my daughter Rachel said, I just want him to be annoying again because boy, can he be a little curmudgeon. And he is going back to his little curmudgeon self. But even Woozy has been extra nice to him, where usually they're whacking each other. Woozy, they've been more touching noses, sniffing each other, and not necessarily fighting. So even though I knew the meat was fresh, I still have to give it that little bit of a smell test. You do that too. And I am partioning this out in 6-ounce measurements because that's how I use it. With my health program, this is 99% lean turkey, ground turkey, and I'm just dividing it up. And then the last one ended up being like 5.9, so that made me happy because it was close enough. And so like what I like to do is portion out meat, wrap it in saran wrap, and then I put it in a Gladluck bag, and then you can just take one hunk out and you have your perfect portion. And then the chicken breasts, they're huge. So I just divided the chicken breasts up. I didn't cut them up and measure and any of that. I just went breast by breast, and then we can take out however much we need that night and just cook what we need. I kept one piece of chicken in the refrigerator because that's what I'm planning on having on this night, and the rest went into the freezer. I just love doing this, and you can buy chicken that is individually wrapped, but it's so much less expensive to buy chicken breast when it's on sale and to individually wrap it yourself and go ahead and put it in the freezer. In fact, one of the things I was going to do, I didn't get to today, is that we have some extra green bell peppers. I bought green bell peppers, and my husband bought green bell peppers on the same day. One of the things I was going to do was to cut up the green bell peppers to flash freeze them on a cookie sheet and then put them in a bag, and then you can just take them out because you can buy green pepper, you can buy green onion, you can buy onion that is chopped up and in the freezer section, but you can also do that yourself by just chopping it up, flash freezing it, spread out on a pan so that it's not all stuck together, and then once it is frozen, then you can pour it into a Gladluck bag or into the container of your choice. I know a lot of you probably don't like to use Gladluck bags. You want to use something that's reusable, or you want to use glass. Completely fair. Totally understand that. I'm a little bit of both. Now today is Monday for me, which is the same day that this video is going to go up. Yesterday on Sunday, my daughter Crecia asked if she could help me with our dining room and getting all of the trees undecorated and getting the Christmas stuff put away. And so she really is not comfortable being on film. So I thought it was more important for her to help me than it was for it to be on film. So the Christmas stuff, other than the main tree that I'd already taken down that you saw, was taken down yesterday, and my husband put the boxes in the basement. But I said to him, just put them in the basement. I'm going to take it from there because I'm really wanting to reorganize my basement. So this is your warning to be on the lookout for more basement videos coming your way, because I just need to take a fresh look at that basement. And I don't know how many days a week I will do that, but because I have so many projects in my head, it's not even funny. But I definitely want to start including at least one basement video each week where I'm going down there and going through everything again, reorganizing it. I don't necessarily feel like I need to get rid of things in case we move, since I don't actually know we're moving. I think it will enter into my process. I think I'm going to go a little deeper and ask individual people that have things down there, do you want this, do you want that? As it was my son Christian, he is my second born. He had 2 boxes of class notes from college that we had just forgotten about. We missed it when he was moving. And when he was here for Christmas, he went through those. He took what he wanted and we decluttered, got rid of the rest. That felt really great. But I also know we have things like ice skates and different things that I'm going to be asking people, do you want yours? Especially with the ice skates, in our town we have an ice rink, and what they do is they have a shed, and inside the shed are spare skates. So if somebody shows up and they don't have skates, they can go through those. You don't pay any rental fee or anything. You just use them and you put them back when you're done, which I love. So there's just different things like that, board games and different things that I always like to check and see if we have outgrown. So what I do is I go around to the people that I live with and I say, do you think we'll still use this? If they think we will, then I will keep it. But we always end up getting rid of a little bit. And so every year it's a little bit and a little bit and a little bit more. And then I want to just kind of reorganize the boxes. I was even noticing while the grandchildren were here that there's definitely some toys we could let go of. Not because I don't think they'll get used, because let's face it, with 7 kids, I'm going to have a lot of grandchildren more than likely. But it's more that just a mismatch, things that got lost. I don't even know where they are or broken. And I want to go through, freshen that up. I've also been thinking of starting a Grammy bag so that whenever I go to their house, I might have special things that we can do in our Grammy bag. I noticed a spot here on the top shelf of the fridge that was extra dirty, so I took a minute to just scrub that. And I did do a little rearranging in the refrigerator as well. I hope you're able to work alongside me or be motivated toward that one thing that you'd like to get done in a day. Remember, as always, God loves you, I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.